everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Never Alone. So if you are new here, welcome, and if you are not new here, reminder that I am not a licensed therapist, but I like to come on to here and share my OCD journey and anxiety with you. And if you need extra help, make sure to get that help you need. It can be very beneficial, coming from a person who was in a treatment center. Today I want to share with you a bit about my OCD journey and the struggles I faced at home and treatment and everything that led up to that. It just feels like eternity ago now. So I believe this started a little before last summer. I started having pretty bad intrusive thoughts. If you don't know what those are in terms of OCD, it's thoughts that keep occurring that are unwanted, and you don't want to be thinking these things, and they bring you into sort of a rumination cycle. And I had really strong images in my head, and it was super uncomfortable. And intrusive thoughts can be a very, very wide variety of things, and I had like pretty much every sort of like variety. There's just so many different types of thoughts that you can have in terms of OCD, intrusive thoughts. That was my dog drinking her water. So I started having those really distressing thoughts, and I would mostly spend all day crying. And you would think that, oh, it's an intrusive thought, it probably didn't have an effect on your life, it was just in your head. But that's where a lot of other stuff comes in. So I would avoid reading certain books. If they would give me an intrusive thought, I wouldn't watch TV unless it was like a safe show, which would be like something like Moana or something that was like a kid's show. I didn't want to have any intrusive thoughts surrounding those. Like, it made me really, really, really distressed and anxious, and just not feeling well, like, at all. And it was horrible. I avoided doing so much. It was hard to do theater because I would go there and I would be so anxious because I would be having all these thoughts surrounding the people there, surrounding the place, anything. Even just driving, seeing people out my window, I'd have just thought about them. And it was just very hard to deal with. I avoided so many different things. And then, I don't know exactly how this happened because it felt so sudden, but my intrusive thoughts started taking over the contamination side, where if I had a bad thought, I sort of had to wash it away with the water and with the soap and stuff. And that quickly spiraled into, don't get contamination OCD. What if you get contamination OCD? What if you're lying? What if this isn't even OCD? Which is a common theme of OCD, is I would have intrusive thoughts like, you're a liar. What if this is all fake? What if this? What if that? Totally normal thoughts to have when you have OCD. Then there's, am I a good person? Am I a bad person? And I took those thoughts, and that's what kind of spiraled my contamination. And I just remember washing my hands for an excessive time and being like, oh, please tell me this isn't a new OCD thing. This is not very good. And it slowly spiraled into it. So, hi, Navy. Come here. Sorry. She was wanting to sit with me, so I brought her up here. Look at the camera. This is crazy. I wouldn't have even been able to hold my dog a while ago. Even with intrusive thoughts, I had intrusive thoughts surrounding my animals, and I just couldn't deal with it. It was so hard. What are you sniffing? There's nothing here. And then soon it became contamination, where I definitely couldn't hold them because I was afraid that passing germs would make me a bad person. Say hi. Yeah, I was having really bad intrusive thoughts surrounding basically everything. I basically couldn't do anything without having a bad thought, and then I would ruminate about it, and the thought would get progressively worse and worse the more I fed into it. It's so hard to ignore thought, and that's why ERP isn't ignoring the thought. It's simply learning how to sit with it and without tightening the OCD cycle. So contamination spiraled super quick. It first started with washing up to my wrists, and then I would wash, and I would wash, and I would wash, and I was like, oh, this is taking a very long time. It was super hard because I didn't want to spread germs to other people, and a lot of my contamination spiraled from home. And then it quickly turned into not just home contamination, but bathroom contamination. Any sort of bodily fluid that like really grossed me out. It became really hard to use the bathroom because when I would use the bathroom, I would go through like rolls of toilet paper and bottles of soap, which surprisingly, come to find out, that's a normal thing for people with OCD to have to deal with. It just really sucks. And it will never not suck, but I've gotten over that, and because I've done ERP therapy, and that's helped a lot, but it became really hard to basically function. And then I started washing up to my elbows. You can probably still see a little bit of red, because I still do, but it's not nearly as long or nearly as frequent or any of that, because no matter what, you can't get rid of OCD. You can just learn how to manage it better, and so that's why I'm on here to share my story. So when I started washing up to my arms, click off the video or skip ahead to this time number if you don't want to see these photos because they're kind of graphic. But I was washing my arms and hands so much that my hands started looking like this and my arms started looking like this, and I couldn't move them because they stung and they had cuts from just overwashing. That was all just from washing my hands, and it was horrible, and I would put hand sanitizer on it, which is not good. Over 200 times washing my hands per day, and it was really just misery. I was in pain 24/7. I didn't do anything, and by that I mean I literally didn't do anything. I couldn't sit on any furniture, couldn't go near my dogs or near my parents or my sister. I couldn't really eat much except for yogurt or prepackaged foods. Like eating anything from any heated appliance still kind of like really bothers me, but I've learned to, but I'm eating off just the stovetop now. And it's baby steps, but stovetop might be the way to go for now until I get my own house, but eating off the stovetop, even then, that would be like the end of the world to me, and I would feel like I'm about to die because any sort of thing besides from packaged foods I couldn't eat, and now I'm eating off at least the stovetop, and it's just crazy how that happens. But I couldn't eat off anything except pre-packaged food, so I basically was living off of yogurt and sometimes cups of water. And like I said, I couldn't really do anything. I would stand in front of the TV, my arms were stuck, which made it even harder to use the bathroom, even harder to shower because my arms were stuck and couldn't move. So I would stand in front of the TV like this, and my sister would have to switch through shows. I couldn't touch the remote, and the shows were giving me intrusive thoughts, so everything was battling each other. Every 5 seconds, the show would be switched. It'd be like, okay, first we're watching Cinderella, now we're watching My Little Pony. It was always this kid show, and it always had to be switched, because no matter what, I was having these super distressing thoughts that I was just not at all willing to sit with, because it was just so uncomfortable and just the worst feeling ever. From there, my mom realized our kid needs help. Like, she knew that I needed help with OCD before it got super, super big like that. But sadly, there's not a lot of OCD treatment. OCD is a term that people often misuse. I think a lot of people don't understand how severely impactful it is on people's lives and how it basically can like take your life from you. Like, at that point, is it really considered living? Like, all I was doing was just standing there, my arms were stuck, couldn't do anything, barely eat. I couldn't watch TV really, like technically, because it kept getting switched and everything. So at that point, is it really living, or is that just surviving? That's where it comes in, and then I was like, yeah, I'm scared. I don't want to go to treatment. I don't know what that looks like, but I'm going to because I need help. And luckily, we were able to get a spot at Rogers Behavioral Health. And I had to wait a couple more weeks until I got to go, and it was misery. And I was just like, I don't want to be there, but I also want to be there right now because I just want to be better. And I think I had this false mindset that when I went to Rogers, I would drink some miracle juice and then be out the next day and be completely fine. In reality, it took me almost 5 months there. And so it was just, yeah, it was a very long process. I stayed there from January 9th to June 11th. So it was definitely not like I just drank a magic potion and was out of there. It was very challenging, and I pushed myself a lot, and I was willing to put in the effort to get better because I knew I deserved a better life than I did, even if my OCD was telling me that I didn't. Ella knew, and so I went and I received the help, and it was so helpful. I would highly recommend that treatment center if you're struggling or you or a loved one are struggling. Like, please look into Rogers. It is outstandingly helpful. And so then from there, they thought I was ready to go home. I felt like I wasn't. In reality, I bet I could have gone home, but it wouldn't have been the prettiest. We decided to go to McLean, which is in Boston, which is a lot closer to where I'm at. And so it made the transition home a little easier. My personal preference, I did not like it at all there, but I could see how some other people could find it helpful. I just think Rogers did a really good job. I feel like I did more work there, and it helped me so much, and like so much more in the long run. But I can't speak for other people, and I know I have a lot of friends who found McLean very helpful. It's just not my personal favorite treatment center. I just really appreciated Rogers and what they did to help me, and it was a wonderful experience. I'm so happy I was able to go get help there first, because it was just such a blessing. McLean was full, and it was just such a blessing in disguise, and I think it was just meant to be that I went to Rogers first and then to McLean. I think if I had gone to McLean and then Rogers, it would be a whole nother story. I think I needed them for two separate reasons. I needed Rogers to get better, I needed McLean to help me with the transition, and I think they both did their job. However, I know that for some people, transitioning isn't what they want at McLean, and they want treatment. So me personally, I wouldn't originally go to McLean. I would originally go to Rogers and then help with the transition at McLean. I was there, I did ERP treatment, which I have a whole video. This is what it looks like. You can find it on my channel. I will have it linked in the description. It talks about what ERP therapy is, how it helped me, and how it benefited my treatment. So yes, that was a little glimpse into my life of when I had OCD, but of having OCD severely and then progressing and getting to where I'm at now, where I'm sitting on furniture in my house. I'm holding my dogs, as you saw. I am with my family. I ate food with my hands, which was like crazy to me because I couldn't basically do anything with my hands. I can move my arms, which you're like, whoa, you can move your arms. Like, that's a normal human thing. But for me, that's big. Like, what? I can like do stuff now. It was so painful originally, and then I was just putting hand sanitizer on it. And I don't know if you've ever had a paper cut and put hand sanitizer in it, but it hurts. And that to every single cut that I had on all the way up my arm, all the way on my hands, 10 times worse, because it was just it was everywhere. And I would be crying, but I would be putting more on, because even though you're like, Ella, but didn't it hurt enough that you would say no? OCD. That's my answer for you, because OCD would do stuff to harm you. Even when you say, ow, this hurts, OCD does not care. OCD will not give up on that, and it will you basically feel held captive and forced to do this stuff. I hope you learned a little bit about my treatment journey and that this could have helped you. Love you all so much, and remember to be yourself, because you're unique and you're loved and you are enough, and you can do this. Life is hard, life is strong, but you are stronger. And I'll see you next time. Bye.